Alrighty. I think the nerds are almost ready. They have done their videos. I let them know the server order. For the people who care, it is Europe, NA East, Europe, NA East. And if it would go to a Game 5, which is obviously what I hope, that means that we will do a coin toss on Google. Naniwa. Naniwa was being mean. We were even talking about you earlier, Naniwa. Crank also referred to you, by the way. I don't know if you saw that. That was funny. The Naniwa. It is the Naniwa. The one and only. The notorious. What happened to your boxer, by the way, Nani? He was old and slow and weak. What happened to our man? Wilder. What happened to Deontay? Game 1 is going to be played on Hecate between these two. I think it's going to be a fun one. I'm sure they've run into each other a couple of times. They both play a lot of online tournaments. Obviously, this is a big weekend for Trigger. We're going to need him on Sunday at the final day of the WTL Codes playoffs. He will most likely not run into too many Protosses there. There's obviously a chance that we run into Liquid and he plays Skillus. There's a chance that we run into DKZ and he plays Hero. There's a chance that we play Shopify and he plays Hearthstone, but I think a tiny chance. Historically, this has gone very well for Krystianer. Lately, Trigger obviously winning 2 out of the last 3. Before that, Krystianer a few times. So, pretty swingy between these two. Main event is Hero Marine versus Spirit. The grudge match. We're gonna settle it once and for all. TVT, guys. And I'm doing it sober. Alright, the nerds are in the lobby. We are ready. Trigger is ready. I'm ready. Indy is ready. We're just waiting for Krystianer. Rot VT. So tomorrow we have first match, Liquid versus Shopify. Couple TVTs probably there as well, guys. With Cure, Clem, and Beyond. I'm gonna have some TVTs. That's gonna be such a fun match. I'm actually very excited for Liquid against Shopify. Like today, I kind of felt that Liquid was going to be too powerful for the other two teams. But then you hope it's going to be close. You hope it's going to be dramatic. It was long, but it was never that close. I think tomorrow it is going to get close. And obviously the winner of that match against DKZ, I mean, that's just the 10 out of 10 match.
Let's get it on.
Round 1, fight.
Third best of 5 of the night as we enter our number 10 of our stream today. In the top right side, we are looking at the main base of the man who is back here in the co-main event of the Big Brain Bouts number 45, representing Basilisk, our Canadian Protoss Trigger. Winner of this best of 5 gets $100. The runner-up gets $25. Bottom left side, we are looking at the main base of our Polish Protoss, who had his best performance ever at the most recent season of the ESL Masters, breaking into the top 8 of Europe. This is Krystianer. Or was it even top 6 that he finished? Yeah, no, Nemsha played very good. That first game against Clem was very exciting. I think Nemsha did as good as he could, but playing ZVT against Clem, you need to be world class to even have a chance. It was a shame that Max packs against Clem did not go in a different way. If the packs had a slightly better start, things could have gone different, right? Roddy recorded my inner monologue for game intro. Why is that, mate? What did I say? Or what did I do? Krystianer is a good PvP player, but he is a absolute gateway spammer. Now, it happens to be kind of in the meta, guys. It is all about the Stalkers and Zealots at the moment. You take a lot of bases, you don't take a lot of gases, and you just make a lot of Zealots and DTs. But that is obviously something that starts coming into play once you're on 3 bases, once you're on 4 bases. PvP is a matchup where you can always go for some cheeky 1-base all-ins. And it seems that that is what Trigger is thinking of here in game 1. A proxy robo 2 minutes into the game in the center of the map. Proxy Robo could be very good. Krystianer has been building a lot of adepts lately in the beginning, but he's also going to go for a Robo. Because obviously he's scouting, guys, and he sees there's only one pylon. He's missing the pylon number 2. And he might be reading this as Trigger going for 3-gate Robo, because Trigger does do this rather often. That should favor Krystianer, but it often comes down to execution. The Mortal Kombat. I think it's mostly Heroes of New Earth on my soundboard. So Adepts, and a Robo. And then both of them going up to Stalkers as well. So it's 100% a mirror, with the only real difference being that Trigger has proxied his Robo. Krystianer hasn't. Oh, careful, by the way. You might not be able to get the pylon. Oh, Krystianer. This is sick, by the way. Actually, very sick. Krystianer was not able to warp in his pylon because Trigger with the Canadian block, baby. That's very good. And now because of that pylon, you can actually still shade out as well. So Trigger is off to a very hot start. That's really cool, guys. I love it. That is a proper big brain play indeed. If there was ever a moment to spam that big brain emoji. Trigger's probe blocking the wall off, getting in there, killing 6 probes that quickly. Awesome start here. And now he's just going to YOLO it with a very quick Immortal. Krystianer has not gone Immortal. He's gone Warp Prism. Trigger could potentially just win this game, as he's going to go for that pylon first, and he's going to be able to outpower the gates right before Warp Gate is done. No battery for you either. 2 Stalkers against 2 Stalkers and an Immortal. What's happening on the other side of the map? Yeah, that's going to take too long, mate. You need stuff here. Krystianer is in so much trouble in game 1. This Trigger now has a Warp Prism in the mix too. Sure, he's going to lose a couple probes at home, but I think he's going to kill everything on the other side of the map, and that's all that matters. What a move by Trigger, guys. What a move. There is an Immortal that now comes out. And Trigger was a tiny bit slow to respond, but Krystianer will still tap out. He's actually only down a couple of workers, but okay. This entire game, guys, was won by this little move. Krystianer shaded his adepts to the other side of the map. And here are Trigger his adepts. And Krystianer wants to ball off, but he can't because the probe is blocking it. And that opens the doors for these adepts to get in and kill a lot of probes very quickly. And the one who deals economic damage first is often the one that is cooking. So game 2, NA, very well done. It is something that we've seen similar stuff like that before, but I have rarely seen it play out like that. Very smart, very clever. Could not have played out any better. Trigger was on fire. Now we're almost back on schedule, by the way, because the main event is normally supposed to start at like 9 p.m. Central European time. It is 8:45. Can Trigger win 2 more games in 15 minutes? It's not what I'm hoping for, but it would be something. Fun day of video games, guys. I'm very excited for the next one. Indy says there is no East server anymore. Is there a bug, guys? Did they patch, and is there a bug? They removed East? Is that a thing? They act same. Does anybody know about this? Did they just remove the East server? Well, Krystianer says let's play Central then. And I think that's okay, because most of the time Central and East are very similar. But yeah, I don't see it either. I think in the most recent patch they have just removed US East. East is gone, yes. Not sure if it's forever. Alright, East is gone. Let's do Central and then next 2 games EU. Okay, that's fair. Alright. So we're gonna switch things up a tiny bit. Rex is saying hello, Rex. Congrats, mate. Good win. It happened yesterday. Yeah, because we started the new season. Hopefully it's a temporary thing. Central and East are pretty similar though. There is not that big of a difference in general between them. A little bit, like most of the time for me, East was like 110 and then Central was like 125. Not much of a difference there. Yeah, that is quite something. I didn't know. But Trigger is very kind, and he says, let's play Central Game 2, but then we can do Game 3 and Game 4 on Europe. So, I think that's pretty fair. Thank you to the Anonymous, gifting a subby to Rex. Thank you to Basilisk for giving us 10 more subs. Are we cooking again, guys? Is it a new record? No. Item Protoss. Don't worry about that, mate. I think you're now going from 0 to 100 real quick. Don't worry, mate. Don't worry. Positivity, be happy, and enjoy the show.
Round 2. Fight!
You guys want the Christmas tree to stay? PayPal's still empty, mate. The triathlon is not doing very well. But we will only start with the triathlon on Monday. Top left side of Heartlat. The man has taken the 1-0 lead with a proper big brain play. It's Trigger. No. You don't have to worry about that item. At least not anytime soon. Bottom right side of Heartlat. We are looking at the main base of our Polish Protoss representing Blazer. This is Krystianer. Hello, Anarchy Online. Yes. Been a very long day. But it's been a good day, mate. And it just makes me happy to see so many people stop by, enjoy Starcraft. Even in the year 2024, 14 years almost after the game got released. A long day with this many people is pretty awesome. Yeah, I think Hyperchat is gone for good. And I also think that we are like 2 weeks away from Twitch coming with an update and being like, hey guys, stories has been removed. Because it turns out that people don't use Twitch for it to be like Snapchat. Like, I love Twitch in general. I think they do a lot of things right, and I think they are very good to us. Obviously, things can always be better. I agree that some things could be better, etc. But that stories thing is the most useless thing that I've ever seen. Like, that is actually such a pointless update that it was very obvious that it was not going to be a thing. It's just like Instagram stories and Snapchat stories, Alchemist. If you open Twitch on your phone, the streamers that you follow can post stories. I follow a decent amount of streamers, like at least 100, if not 200. I have 0 stories. There were a couple in the very beginning. I think Liverby did one. Piggy maybe had one. I posted a picture of Rhonda, I think, one time. But this is just so pointless. You see lots. Yeah, okay. Oh, then you follow different people than I do. I too, yai. I feel like the stories will disappear real quick. That's okay. They tried, right? Swing and a miss. That's what we can call it. A swing and a miss. Trigger opening up with Stalkers this time around. Stalker number 1 and 2 are making their way to the bottom side of the map. Number 3 and 4 are in production. Krystianer. Just because he lost game 1 with Adepts, that doesn't mean that he doesn't want to build more Adepts. Don't worry, Roddy, I got you. I'll send you a DM. If I was very interested, I would follow them myself, right, mate? I am not really feeling Krystianer's opening here, by the way, but it's so okay. The Adepts do get into the main, so maybe I am feeling it. I was lying, guys, just kidding. It's obviously a great start to open up with a couple of Adepts and get the Adepts into the main base of your opponent. 5 probes have fallen, and it is 5 in the end. But Krystianer is going to have a hard time keeping his Nexus alive. Because Adepts are not as good as Stalkers in the straight up fight. Trigger can just walk these units to the bottom side of the map. Now maybe once Warp Gate is done, Krystianer can warp in 2 more units and then he's okay. XD threat. I don't think that was the purpose of the stories, but it's fair enough, mate. I can't blame you. You follow who you want to follow. I think Krystianer can be very lucky that Trigger did not have a pylon in the bottom side of the map. He lets the Adept Shade finish up and he's now going to try to body block the Stalker. Maybe it's no longer needed because he gets the kill. Does lose 1 Adept. Krystianer does need to be careful that he's not chasing too far. Will he let the Shade finish up again? Yes, he will. He's going to try to keep on blocking these Adepts. I mean, this turned into a good fight for Krystianer in the end. No! Trigger shot at his own unit! That is something that Trigger used to do, guys, a long time ago. And the Adept Shade is going to finish up and it might get the double kill. Oh. At least Trigger warps in a few more units. Now he's going to get the kills on the Stalkers, at least with Krystianer. Please warp in something. He does still have the probe there. Shooting at your own Stalker there was pretty expensive. Now Krystianer has a 7 worker lead. Make it 8. That's pretty rough. Trigger used to do this all the time when he was an up-and-comer. He would always blink forward and he would one-shot his own Stalker. He did it more than any other high-level Protoss player I've ever seen. And I think I told him once, I was like, maybe you should slow down your mouse like a tiny bit, or like don't try to be too quick. Because it happened so frequently that I was like, this is becoming a problem. But I haven't seen him do it in a while. But now he did just shoot at his own unit. But it's okay, he didn't kill it. The game goes on, he's only down 4 workers. Nothing to panic over. Rocking into a natural with an Immortal and Sentries when Blink isn't ready though. Is a bit scary, but he ends up only losing 1. Krystianer is still up 4 workers, but his Blink is going to be way later. I feel like Trigger kind of knows about the Prism, but can't do much about it at the moment. No, Cryo. Stalkers walk in range to one-shot a sentry, and they do it twice. Not bad by Trigger.
1 shot, 1 kill.
Yeah. Trigger has a very sexy, smooth voice, as you guys can hear. He's gonna try his luck again this time around. I think he ended up losing a Stalker. Didn't actually kill anything. The War Prism of Krystianer has made it to the other side of the map. And just dropping 2 Adepts is so effective, eh? Protoss is really good in killing probes. It'd be awesome if we were this good in killing SCVs or drones, but I feel like no race kills probes better than Protoss. And yes, I know Widow Mines exist. I do like that blink, making it impossible for the War Prism to pick up these adapts. Did he recall there? I don't think a recall was used. You mean Trigger? The Trigger recalled Stalkers, yes. Trigger used recall. Krystianer has recall available. Going for a pretty quick Dark Shrine, and that can honestly be very gnarly, guys, because Trigger has a Robo, but he only has a single Observer. It's on the other side of the map, and don't forget that that War Prism is still here. So, Krystianer is going to be able to defend with Immortals. He's playing a lot like Strange, no? I feel like Krystianer has lost a few too many ladder games against Strange, and he's like, you know what? Strange is onto something. I'm going to try to copy his builds and do it with better mechanics. And see if I can win a lot. And I actually think this is looking really good for Krystianer, even though he is down a couple workers now, but 3rd base is finishing up. Trigger did have his own up and running already for a tiny bit. I like the idea of blinking a bunch of Stalkers into the main. That's going to force Krystianer to use a recall on some of these Immortals. Stalker was exposed. Stalkers could go for it. Trigger waiting as long as possible. DTs are done though. Where did we warp in those DTs? At home. We are not using the War Prism yet because there are still Stalkers. But he is still going to try it to make 1 DT in that Observer, guys. Trigger has 1 Ops and it's all the way on the other side of the map. And he can't recall because he already used recall. So he now needs to wait until another Observer is built. Oh, it's a disaster. Trigger cannot recall because he has already recalled. Oh. Well, DT not doing too much here, yeah, but a DT in the main, a DT in the natural, a DT in the 3rd. Has just an insane amount of economic damage and also a lot of indirect economic damage. The invisible guy with the sword and does it again. The amount of games, guys, that have been won by this dude is too damn high. In European, the Widow Mine is destroying PvZ. I also think Dark Templars are a real problem in TvZ. It's crazy how that works, eh? Problem so big, they enter a whole new dimension in a matchup they don't even belong in. Legalek actually currently rates Strange above Krystianer. That really surprises me with Krystianer, his run in the weekly and winning a weekly, and like first he made it to the final, right, where he lost against Clamp and he made the famous tweet or infamous tweet. Then he won a weekly when we were all in America and MaxPax was sick, so he couldn't play. And he also had a great run at ESL Masters. That's very surprising that... I guess Krystianer just plays in so many tournaments that he also loses to a lot of lower ranked players. Because I don't think there is anybody on the planet that thinks that Strange has performed better lately than Krystianer. I don't even think that Strange thinks that. This is such an insane army, by the way. This is so hard to beat. The only way that Trigger can beat this army is by having Disruptors. Or a crap ton of Archons and batteries. Because I know you guys think that Zealots with Charge are good, but Adepts with Glaives, they just don't give a damn. I feel that Trigger is very dead. It's kind of like the game against Matrix, guys. Oh no, it's the Matrix game all over. Trigger on last Monday had a rather funny game against a Protoss that was 4,500 MMR. We do have a bunch of Zealots coming in from the bottom. I feel Krystianer should just stand there and fight, by the way, but he keeps on running. War Prism is maybe in a tiny bit of danger. The Zealot count is so high, but we have extra Adepts showing up. These Adepts should go a little bit more here. I mean, Krystianer is shooting at all the wrong units and he's still winning the fight. The Adepts were battling the Stalkers, the Immortals were battling the Zealots, and he still wins the fight. This goes to show how powerful that comp can be. GG. That means that we're all tied up and we're going back to Europe for Game 3 and Game 4. So Trigger wins Game 1 in Europe. Krystianer wins Game 2 on US Central. Yeah, was it Matrix was Polish as well, right? Was Matrix was a Polish Protoss? I believe he was. I mean, historically, I believe that JG. I just think over the last few months, right? Like, I think Strange has never made it to the final of a weekly. Krystianer made it to the final. Strange has never won a weekly. Krystianer won a weekly. And Krystianer also made it into the playoffs of the ESL Masters Europe Regionals and even made top 8 or top 6, whatever it was. By far and away the best run that any of these guys ever had. Matrix is Polish. Yeah, he took a map of Trigger last Monday. He was very happy. He seemed like a very nice guy. I like Matrix. Sweet dude. Ooh. I would be lying if I'm telling you guys that I'm not feeling a tiny bit tired after 10 hours and 15 minutes, but we can do a few more PvPs into Spirit versus Hero Marine. Main event of the Big Brain Bouts number 45. The first ever TVT main event. Roddy is different in 2024, isn't he, guys? Well, we'll make it fun. I think it's going to be good. El Sione is going to be map 3 between these two lovely nerds. I am like really thinking about having one drink though. I want to save it until we hopefully do great on Sunday. But on the other end, I'm like, okay, that's silly. It's Friday night. We had a 10-hour day. We can have a drink. I'm really having a battle with myself here.
Round 3. Fight.
Top right side of El Sione. We are looking at the main base of the man that's representing Basilisk. Won on the European server, lost on the American server, and we're back in Europe. This is Basilisk Trigger. Strange won Zero multiple times on the ladder. Krystianer not. Krystianer beat Raynor in a weekly. Strange didn't. I mean, we can do this all day, mate. I never said anything bad about Strange today. But it's not a hot take that Krystianer has performed better than Strange over the last few months. That's all we said. That's not a hot take. It's not a spicy take. This man has had really good results. It's just a compliment, guys. That's all. In the bottom left side of El Sione, we are looking at the main base of Blazer Esports Krystianer. Playing it safe with some Guinness tonight. Have to wake up early tomorrow. I actually have to wake up. You know, that's the ultimate reason not to do it. I have to wake up early tomorrow too. And I have another show match against F91. I watched F91 play against Crank this morning. It's doable. Very doable. But these Chinese Zergs, I know they theory craft about how to beat me. And they always come up with some weird all-in. So it's kind of annoying. Even though I feel like I am the better player in some of these matches, it's really hard to let it come down to skill because they just sit there and they drag me down to their level and they beat me with experience. But hopefully I'll be good tomorrow morning as well. I will play before WTL starts, so I assume that is around 11:30 a.m. WTL is supposed to start at 12. They never make that. If they plan 3 show matches, they can never make that in 1 hour. We're gonna do our best, guys. We got 1 W on the board this morning. Hopefully tomorrow a second. I need to go to the supermarket. I need to prepare my second celebration. I have a great idea, which might not be appreciated by everyone, but I think it's a great idea. And if people just understand that it's for the show, nobody should be upset over my celebration. I have no idea who Mark Twain is, mate. But I do know that it is a saying. The German Protoss used to say it about Goody. When EPS was still a thing, and great players in Germany were TLO, Zocke, Hazuops. All of these guys were great, and sometimes they would end up losing to Goody in big German tournaments. And they came to the conclusion that the only reason that happened is because Goody drags you down to your level and then he beats you with experience. That is what the Germans used to say about the low APM Mac God Goody. And I never forgot it. I like it. I was not familiar with Mark Twain, guys. But thank you for sharing that with me. Today I learned. We are never too old to learn a thing or two about riders. We've got a very quick Twilight Council on the side of Trigger. Krystianer has gone for a Robo again, but no adepts this time around. So he just seems to absolutely love the quick Robos in PvP. It kind of feels that this style should be weak against Oracles, no? Because if Trigger would open Stargate and would make an Oracle, I feel like Krystianer can kill the Oracle in forever. We learn about him in school and checking it. I mean, maybe I learned about him in school too, mate. But when I was in school, the Soviet Union was still around, so, you know, I don't necessarily remember everything. Kidding. The Soviet Union collapsed way before I went to school. High school, that is. Elementary school, it was still a thing. Krystianer is gonna fly his War Prism with 2 adepts into the main base of Trigger. Trigger left 3 Stalkers behind on the edge of his main. I like that Warp in as well to maybe potentially block. Unfortunately, can't totally block, but I think it's good defense on Trigger's side. Should be able to get drop a force field, exactly, make your life easy. I mean, this is really good by Trigger, no? Trigger just killed 4 adepts and he lost 1 probe, guys. I walked to school, yes. I was always fortunate enough to live close to elementary school and live close to high school, so I could walk. Sometimes I would use a bicycle for elementary school, but walking was fine. 1 probe for 4 defense is legitimately as good as any defense is going to be. And we find these 2 adepts as well. Krystianer is going to go for the Immortals, the Dark Shrine, and the Resonating Glaive again. Trigger has a much better setup this time around to figure out how he wants to deal with it. I still don't think it's easy. I said it in the last game and I stand by it. I think Disruptors are god tier against this. If you can get like 2 Disruptors out against this army, guys, you win. Ah, okay. Great minds think alike. But what I always hate about going up against this build is that I feel most of the time it comes as a surprise. Now obviously if Krystianer does it in game 2 and you scout game 3 and it looks the same, it's not that surprising. But if this build hits you as a surprise, then I feel like it just hits as a Volvo truck. If you know it's coming, then I think a couple cannons, couple batteries, and just spam Disruptors. Because it's so hard to split adepts against Disruptors. Are we ready for them DTs this time around, guys? We have 2 observers, one with the army in the main, one... Ooh, we forgot about his DTs. There is an observer here, guys. The trigger should have at least some detection. The other observer is in... We have an observer in all 3 bases. I mean, trigger is just bulletproof. And he should be able to kill the War Prism too. So first the man kills 4 adepts and he loses 1 probe. Now the man kills 3 DTs and a prism and he loses nothing. I mean, come on.
Absolutely perfect.
That is absolutely perfect. Trigger is on fire, mate. Europe server. Never let this boy play on the American server again. This is actually illegally good. Seize 2 more adepts. Are we gonna get these as well? Come on, let's not lose any probes now. Just jump on it, mate. Jump on it. Ah, now we're gonna lose a probe though. That's so sad. Oh no, we did it. The other army's already here. He's gonna find 2 more adepts. All the Protoss units are terrified when Trigger is on fire. All the units are terrified when Trigger is on fire. What a game. What an absolutely perfect game so far by Trigger. Be quite something if he would lose now, right guys? Wouldn't that be a plot twist nobody would see coming? Couple months ago, Jigatal Dipson. Ivy actually gave me a crypto donation. A couple months ago, she just sent me some either Bitcoin or Ethereum. It was kind of cool. I was like, let's go. Alright, Trigger will most likely lose a couple units here, but not many because disruptors are so good. Saves the Stalker, has still only lost a probe, now blinks forward, so he will finally lose some units. But obviously he's going to win this fight. And he's not going to win it somewhat close, no. He's going to wipe the floor with his army of Krystianer. GG gets called. 9 minutes of Protoss perfection coming out of Trigger, man. What a game. That's the kind of Trigger we want to see on Sunday. If that Trigger shows up on Sunday, guys, then we are cooking. Can't wait for Sunday. Neither can I, mate. Neither can I. He was on. The man was on point. Indy forgot what map 4 is. A lot of you guys have been waiting for Hero Marine versus Spirit. That will be the next series. The absolute last series of the day. I think Gabe has been streaming for a while too, right? A chill evening stream. Nothing chill about the Big Brain Bouts, Gabriel. And nothing chill about those, mate. I want to see you sweat. It has to be better than the last time Gabe played in the BBB. That's all I want. Are any of you guys have been watching some Zero Space streams? Because I believe today is the day that a lot of content creators have gone live with Zero Space for the very first time. I see Grubby is playing it. I see Nate is playing it as well. Did you guys manage to catch anything? Yeah, it looks super cool. Feel free to talk about it as much as you want. I don't mind. You'll be doing it as well for the NA fan. You gonna play it? Zero Space is an RTS that is worked on by obviously many people, but also Cats and Scarlet are very closely involved. They had a show match too at the DreamHack Masters Atlanta. I think Clem played against Scarlet. Clem is apparently very good in that game too. Shocker, right? Get your surprise Pikachu face out, guys. Clem is good. What a surprise! Didn't see that coming, but yeah, he is. Anyway, top left side of Golden Aura. We are looking at the main base of Blazer Esports Krystianer. It's been a good couple months for this young man from Poland, but he's in trouble tonight. Against this man who was on point. The previous game, one of the best games that I've seen of Trigger in a long time. Don't think we can really ask for a whole lot more. This is Basilisk Trigger. Clem didn't take a map of Scarlet though at the show match. Wow, so you're telling me Clem did not win 2 tournaments in 1 weekend in Atlanta? Disappointing. I expected more of him. And that is a real shock, Pikachu. What is this, Clem? You know, I will tell you guys forever about the legend that is Papa Cass from Ukraine. when StarCraft 2 just came out, we had the Go for StarCraft 2 weekly. $100 open tournament, 512 players signed up immediately, bracket filled out on the Sunday. But on the Saturday, we had the Zotac Cup, which was the Warcraft 3 equivalent. Kaz won the Zotac Cup on Saturday, playing Human in Warcraft 3. He won the StarCraft 2 Cup on Sunday, playing Terran. To me, forever a great accomplishment. Even if it's just 2 online tournaments, winning 2 weeklies back to back in the same weekend in 2 different games, then you're a big star. How many hours did it go for StarCraft 2 take? Around the same as a weekly, like 5-6 hours. No, well, it wasn't that bad. I think we did best of ones, Magnus. I think we did best of one for quite some time. So those tournaments actually went relatively quick. Because we all thought best of one was a great idea in the beginning of StarCraft 2. The game was slower. Yeah, the game was a little bit slow, but you also had a lot of one-base all-ins. I mean, the game was slow as in we didn't scout, we didn't react, we didn't micro. But it would still kind of end at minute 9, 10, 11, 12. Yep, started with 6 workers. That is correct. 3 racks. It was mostly about the 1-1-1. 1-1-1 all day, every day. And we were 4-gating as Protoss players. Terran players could just not figure out how to build a bunker and repair it. 4-gate was very quick here. Alright, game 4, guys. Golden Aura. Go main event of the evening. That game 3 has to feel good if you're Trigger. Because that was amazing. Krystianer is going to give up on the idea of just building a Robo, a Dark Shrine, and a DT. Dark Shrine and a Resonating Glaive upgrade every single game. Like, it worked on Heartlet. Because he had a good start with the Adepts getting into the main. And then obviously, came as a bit of a surprise to Trigger. So Trigger was stuck with 30 Zealots. And the DTs did a lot of damage and indirect damage. In game 3 it was a bit obvious. And you can really see how quickly a pro player can adjust and can learn from mistakes. Hello, Porty. I can't have you retire, mate. I need you. If you retire, what am I gonna do? Who's gonna keep the lights on in this place? The 2 Adepts of Krystianer are gonna shade in, and that's a little bit annoying. Maybe a force field? Yeah, but it's not quite getting done what I think Trigger was hoping for. He could always drop another one if he really wants to. This game already a little more sloppy than the previous one. Very well, keep working, but for you. Makes me happy, Port. We gotta have some fish and chips this year. Long way to go. A little weekend trip to London. We're gonna go to Nando's. Take a ride in your car. Should be doable. Now first London and then we go to wherever. Alright. Outside of London. Outside. Hello R, welcome. Mind control, we don't use the delay, mate. I trust these players. They are professionals. They play fair. There's no need for delay. It's been a very long day. Streams without delay are a lot more fun. Obviously. Makes it a lot easier for me to communicate with you guys. Doesn't make me feel lonely when I sit here for 11 hours. Trigger has 3 gateways and a robo, and he's gonna go to the other side of the map as Krystianer is going up to 3 bases. He's also building an Immortal. This doesn't really look all that hot for a Trigger. Not too much has happened in this game. I kind of feel like he's trying to make this hit as a surprise. That Warp Prism is real, so you need to be careful. Okay, it picks up a unit. Krystianer obviously knows that it's real. So this build, this push is just designated to kill the Nexus, but we have a battery here. We could use battery overcharge. Force fields will expire soon. And the Immortal showing up. Don't see Trigger necessarily getting the best of Krystianer here, but The micro is good, the Guardian Shield is good, but I feel like Krystianer with Defender's Advantage is always going to be okay here. Should be okay at least. Barrier was already done. Trigger is thinking about it, but the battery overcharge is still available. Krystianer has been very, very cautious with activating battery overcharge. There's 2 Immortals now. Trigger cannot stick around here any longer. I hope he knows that. The supply block too, guys. 86 out of 86. We are waiting for this pylon. It's going to get charged, just like Krystianer is going to get charged. Krystianer has 3 Immortals. Those Immortals are really funny. They either look amazing or they look very underwhelming. Trigger roaming the map, trying to buy some time for himself. 4 more Zealots get warped in. Needs to be careful that Warp Prism is exposed. The Warp Prism gets picked off as Krystianer realized that this was his moment to blink forward. With these gates coming online though. Can't Krystianer just attack Trigger, guys? I'm kind of concerned for Trigger. But Trigger still wants that Nexus. The Nexus is a little low on HP. Shields have not even regenerated yet. It is nice sometimes to just poke to have a feel for what your opponent is doing. To see how much they have. Shout out to Lisek for the 34 months, mate. I really appreciate it. Not sure if I got you. Forward blink here by Krystianer is going to allow the Zealots to participate in the fight as they get a bit of support. A second forward blink. Trigger doing his best to just guide his way to his side of the map safely, but Krystianer will probably keep on blinking forward. He's actually getting quite a few Stalkers here. Hoping for game 5. It's kind of looking like a game 5. We are not there yet, but pure Stalkers don't get it. It's because of the mobility factor. Mobility is king in high-level StarCraft 2. It is not about sitting at home and building a powerful army. It's about trying to make stuff happen. Trigger tried to make stuff happen with the Warp Prism Stalker Sentry push. He couldn't kill the Nexus. At that point, he kind of needs to double down on the Stalkers, because every other choice is the wrong one. Big Gabriel is next. Gabe against Spirit is our main event. Zealo's gonna go up that ramp. That Immortal, by the way, is gonna tank a little bit there with his heart and shield. But Krystianer is still just powering through, feeling that this is the fight he needs to take. And since that Nexus ain't done yet, even if the battery comes online, there is no battery overcharge. Immortal number 2 dies. I think Trigger wants to snipe that Prism. Trigger will snipe that Prism in the top left. We now have the shield battery for a split second, activating battery overcharge. I still think that there is just a little bit too much here. Maybe with one final warp in. There's a couple of other Stalkers coming in from the bottom left. Trigger just needs like 6 Zealots or so, but it is hard to get 6 Zealots, and the longer that this fight goes, the closer that we can get to Krystianer getting a couple of extra units to this side of the map, and I think that is going to be good enough, guys. The man just bulldozed his way up that ramp. Looked a little reckless, but the timing was picture perfect. Right before the Nexus, right before the battery, and that allowed him to get away with this fight. GG gets called. Krystianer wins game 4, and that means that it's time for a coin toss to decide where we do game 5. I'll let Trigger choose. I let Trigger choose head or tails. Last time Trigger chose, he chose wrong. I'll already show you guys my monitor. Trigger wants heads. Last time he picked heads, it was tails. Tails never fails. What is it today? Oh, I'm so sorry, mate. Trigger is not very lucky with these coin tosses. So I'm like, heads or tails? Trigger says huge. Krystianer's like, what does it mean? I was like, did you get serve a pick? And he's like, oh, well, let's play Europe then. Like, shocker. Surprise Pikachu, guys. A surprise Pikachu. Who could have guessed? It's alright. So far, the score on the Europe server is still 2-1 in favor of Trigger. Side Delta, tiny map, and also a weird one because it has a ramp leading into the natural. Trigger is ready. Krystianer is ready. Let's do it. Game 5, guys. Long day of video games. Let's see who wins the co-main event of the BASILISK Big Brain Bouts number 45. Winner gets $100, loser gets 25. Thank you guys for stopping by again on the Friday night. I hope you guys have enjoyed all the Starcraft 2 that came your way today. Final round.
Final round. Fight!
My weekend plans are just Starcraft J Power, so we're all good, mate. Top left side of Side Delta. We're looking at the main base of the Polish Protoss. He won the coin toss by not doing anything. It is Blazer, Esports, Krystianer. And this man is now 0-2 when it comes to coin tosses on the Roddy stream. In the bottom right side of Side Delta, we are looking at the main base of the man that's representing Basilisk. This is Trigger. Hello, Padme. It is almost TVT time. The moment that Roddy streak will come to an end. Nah, TVT is very fast these days, guys. So many cyclones, explosive starts. We might have a long game or two, but I'm not expecting like a 90-minute best of 5 between Gabe and Spirit. Could have a couple of short games in there. What are the boys going to do here in Game 5? I find it a bit surprising that both of them have decided to go pylon, gate on the high ground. This is a map where you can absolutely go one gate fast expand. Not every Protoss player agrees with that, but a lot of Protoss players will agree with that. You need these points to pay for alimony. The Roddy currency has been doing pretty well, eh? I think it's been trading successfully. We're on the up and up, guys. It is never too late to also earn more Roddy currency. The Frequent Phoenix Flyer Mouse. The most complicated name ever for some channel points, but it does sound good. Proxy Stargate is going to be the tech of choice for Trigger. Krystianer could scout it immediately, and he will scout it, and that's all because of the probe, right? I wish that if you proxy, that people would stop moving their probe around. The probe gives it away more often than it's actually being scouted. This could be bad news for Trigger. Krystianer opening up with a defensive robo. But the Stalkers are going to just be able to run over, and they might actually be able to unpower this. And before the first Oracle comes out. I think they will. But there are some adepts here. That's a cool probe position for Krystianer, by the way. Like, Trigger cannot see that probe, but that probe can see quite a bit here. Very cool. It feels exposed, but it's hidden. I love that as well, Lurenjon. That is something that I brought up to Stormgate a long time ago. Krystianer has scouted it so quick that Trigger decided to cancel his Stargate. And honestly, I think that's good news. The bad news is that he's now going to try to expand. And obviously, expanding is pretty hard against 3-gate Robo if you open up with the depths. There was a map once upon a time called Cerulean Fall. I had a very cool probe spot on that map. The map of the legendary Raynor and Sarrow game. Oh. WCS Montreal a long time ago. So Trigger is going to defend with the Robo after he got his Adept in. That's obviously kind of big, but I think it was already a bit obvious. Krystianer cancels gateway number 3. So one cancels the Stargate, the other one cancels the gate after it gets scouted. So now it's 2-gate, Robo, Pressure, and Expand. A lot of mind games, guys. And Krystianer's plan may just be to deal some economic damage and take the game from there, and that is actually going to work out so well, right? Because sentries and adepts are not good in dealing with a War Prism and Stalkers for Trigger. Okay, Krystianer is now doubling down on the Twilight Councils, guys. Not one, but two. See!
Sick!
Both upgrades at the same time. Charge and blink, baby. 4 Stalkers is annoying to deal with. And they don't actually, like, 3 Sentries and a Stalker don't win this fight, guys. This is very bad news for Trigger, who's just trying to buy some time for his Immortal to come out. He does have a quicker expand. Immortal comes out, drops a force field, but... yeah. No, don't let that many probes travel, mate. Leave 10 behind. Ah. A little bit sad that he actually travels this much. Trigger is really struggling to deal with this War Prism harassment of Krystianer. There was not a whole lot that he could have done about it because his setup was just not good. Is that a Coco sample? If you think that Coco is an Eastern European woman, mate, then yes, it is Coco.
So sick.
That doesn't sound like Coco at all. Yeah, the 8 worker lead it's a lot. It's a very rough start for Trigger. First, the Stargate gets scouted, and then because he scouts the 3-gate Robo, Krystianer deviates, cancels the gate, goes double Twilight. Very rough. Rough best of 5 maybe here in the end for Trigger. Did give us that game 5 that we were hoping for, but he's in so much trouble. Maybe we can still make something of it because it is side delta and there is a map with a ramp, but this is very unlucky for Trigger. Why so many sentries? Because he scouted 3-gate Robo. And against 3-gate Robo, you want to defend your ramp. So it made sense. It was technically a good call. But yeah, then your opponent, if they switch it up and they go for an expand and they only want to harass a little bit, then all of a sudden you're in trouble. Now if Trigger can get the scout, I mean, this is a confusing scout, right? Like, he's got 2 Twilight Councils? What does that mean? Could be anything. I don't think Trigger made too many sentries. I think Trigger made the right amount of sentries, given what he was going up against, at least what he thought. But his opponent cancelled his plans and then decided to go for harass only. And where the sentries are very good in defending the ramp in a straight up fight, they are very bad in dealing with just harass. How did Basilisk do this season? It's over. If you mean WTL Code S, we will play on Sunday, mate. Sunday is the final day of WTL Code S. That's where we play the lower bracket final and the grand final. Basilisk will play in the lower bracket final against either DKZ, Shopify, or Team Liquid. It is one of those 3. It is a very big Sunday ahead of us. We're all very excited. He is using both Twilights now, by the way, for a split second. He had Glaive just finishing up and already started up charge. Krystianer says, oh well, if I've got double Twilight, I may as well use him. I do still believe that this is like playable for Trigger. It's obviously not looking good, but maybe we can get some Archons and batteries out. There is a world where Krystianer plays it out poorly, makes a mistake or two. It's not 100% game over. Trigger is in trouble, but if we snipe this War Prism, oh, come on! Oh, he gets it from downtown.
1 shot, 1 kill.
That's big. That is big, guys. Gets the prism with 4 stalkers inside of it. Trigger needed that. He absolutely needed that. Did he just kill the Observer too? Kills the Observer too. That is 6 units in a row that he just killed. The eyes? My eyes are fine, man. My eyes are fine after streaming for 11 hours. The only thing that's not totally fine is like my shoulders and my back. Like, everything hurts. But the eyes are fine. The head is fine. The passion levels are fine. We're okay. A long but very fun day of Starcraft. Longest day of the year so far. Do 10 push-ups, you'll do better. I'm happy if I can do 3, mate. Krystianer says, lags, lags! Well, we are playing on the European server, matey. So if we are lagging, it's definitely on you. Good. Ref? Is it me? Me? Oh, it's Indy. Roddy on pause? No. Well, maybe, guys. We are back in this game. As I said, the motto was earlier, never out of the fight. Trigger has a chance here. What the hell? There are 10 immortals on the battlefield, guys. It's a 10-minute game and we have 10 immortals. It's pretty wild. Drava. That is funny, man. Wasn't warmed up yet, maybe. War Prism number 2 is going to drop a couple of zealots. Trigger needs to react quickly to it. He cannot lose a lot of probes here. Ends up losing only 2. That's not too bad. Stalker was thinking of maybe running to the battery. You can see that this army is thinking about it. You also need to be careful, by the way. Well, Trigger's over defending a little bit. I mean, he's probably getting ready for glaives, but... Or maybe just getting ready for anything. Hello, Pierre. Krystianer going up to 4 bases, up 13 workers. Upgrades are even. Armies are somewhat similar. Like, I do believe that Trigger can win this game. It is absolutely possible. He is not winning, but he has a chance. What can he do? Well, you can just grow up your army. You can slowly but steadily go up to 4 bases as well. He could think of just taking a fight while trying to max out on a lower probe count. Like, all of these are fine choices. I think I'm the biggest fan of just going up to 4 bases and keep scouting like he's doing, and then he sees that he will eventually have to deal with a Robo Bay coming online. Krystianer is not quite a disruptor master. So I would love to actually see that happen. Does seem that Trigger is going to play it slow, try to go up to 4 bases, couple zealots on top of it immediately. I kind of believe in the Trigger comeback, guy. I kind of believe. I have the feeling that Krystianer is going to take a fight when he absolutely shouldn't. And then Trigger will stabilize on 4 bases. And then Krystianer is going to fire balls all over the shop. But he's not exactly a disruptor master. Then again, it is hard to have bad shots against this army. But Trigger is going to get +3 and blink. There are 2 adepts shading towards the left side of the map, guys. Could be big. If we don't lose it to the cannon, this could be big. We hallucinate a bunch of Archons as well. Go, Trigger, fight. You can fight. Oh, it's a shame he's that afraid. He does not lose the adepts, though. Trigger plays it very carefully, very cautious. And I guess that's okay. There are a couple zealots that are splitting off into the natural. The adepts still doing their thing. One of the adepts does die to a cannon. But the other one still has potential. Shield battery is out of position. Thank you to Phalanx. Appreciate it, mate. Thank you for the kind words as well. Zealots get taken care of. You cannot attack into this. Once you have disruptors, it's obviously fine. Without disruptors, you cannot attack into this. Yeah, these Novas have potential. Fun ending. Another kind of dramatic ending to a best of 5 today. Blink is done, by the way. Stalkers can blink forward. War Prism number 2 will fall. At least all 4 zealots do make it out of the War Prism, but it's still always nice to kill it. I wouldn't mind a tiny bit of micro here on the Stalkers. Okay, in the end, this wasn't even that bad for Krystianer because he killed 4 Stalkers there. It's not too shabby, guys. Trigger also feels that it's his moment to split off a couple of Stalkers as he tries to go up to 4 bases one more time. The Immortal Pain Train, but yeah, Disruptors are so good against Mass Immortal. So this next is gonna get cancelled again. I hope he cancels it. He will cancel it. Now Trigger, I think, wants to fight. I mean, the Disruptors, if they are in a good spot, there are 4 of them. Where are they? Some of them are in the army. Here we go. Fire in the hole. The first one is not bad. Not fantastic, though. Second one connects only with an Archon. This is the longer it goes, the worse it gets. Trigger needs to go, go, go. And warp in only Stalkers. Can he get on top of these Novas? No, he cannot. Ah, I lost 1 or 2 Archons there. That's gonna be so hard, obviously. Force fielding Immortals and Disruptors. I can't believe it. I don't even remember the last time I've seen it. Another Nova does fly forward. Trigger is trying to do his absolute best to make something of this fight. The Novas are a nightmare to deal with. But there are still so many Immortals. Is Trigger doing it, guys? But he needs to keep going. You need to keep going, I think. Because if you... I mean, the fight was amazing, but... if you don't keep going... you kind of just need to... transition yourself immediately. Because like the Immortals are not going to be good forever against the Disruptors. I feel like he had to go there, guys. Cannons are not that scary if you have mass Immortal against a tiny army. I felt like he had to keep going there. The longer we wait, I think the worse it gets. 5 Disruptors is already so many. And if it turns into 7, I just don't see how we can get value out of this army. But maybe Trigger can transition himself. Sick fight though. Absolutely sick fight. You Zerby, mate. Be silent. Can you do this for me? What? Okay, that is an interesting Nova, guys. Trigger will say thank you for softening up those pylons. The second one, though, is a whole lot better. Trigger thought of warping in a bunch of Stalkers. No, never mind. That's Krystianer who wants to get that Prism, and he too gets his first Prism of the day. Nexus will get cancelled. Trigger has warped in another Robo. Still so many Immortals. 10. Krystianer is now very Stalker heavy. I mean, if the Disruptors are in a good spot, it should be an easy win for Krystianer. But if Trigger can turn this into a Disruptor war, I believe in Trigger again. But this is probably not the fight for Trigger. He's in a bit of an awkward spot. The Archons are behind the Immortals too. The Disruptors are going to get close. Balls will connect. More balls will connect. Trigger, you cannot chase an army like that. Trigger, chill, mate. Run to your battery. Oh my god, he has so many Archons. Splits are pretty sexy, man. Trigger has pretty good micro. On very fat, clumsy units, he's doing surprisingly good, eh? I would have lost every single Immortal there. Now with the surprise Disruptor from the high ground gets the double kill.
Double kill.
Obviously, maybe hoping for a tiny bit more, but hey, 2 for 0 is not bad. Trigger does end up losing one. He's got another Disruptor coming in from the left side. He fired first, which means he gets the first shot. Trigger definitely getting the best of these trades. Splitting up his army. Those Novas by Krystianer, not all that bad. Archons may think of a flank. This is a great game, by the way. A very interesting and very unique, awesome game where Krystianer is now potentially going to get surrounded. He knows about it. Who fired first? I think it was Trigger. Can he get on top of all these Disruptors? Blink? Oh, I think he could have blinked forward there, no? Surprised that Trigger did not want to go for that final blink forward. All the Disruptors were so exposed. They were so naked. And he's going to play it safe. And invites Krystianer into his concave one more time. This is a truly unique PvP. I have not seen many games like this. Krystianer does have a double upgrade advantage. +2 armor against no armor. Maybe a bunch of probes going through the Archon meat grinder. That won't happen. Krystianer is now going to split up his army. He's going to try to get some value out of all these Blinky boys. I think Trigger has caught a glimpse of it. One zoning Disruptor. If Krystianer blinks forward, he could be in trouble. Krystianer could be in trouble regardless. His army is too big to recall, no? I think it's kind of too big to recall, so not everything will get recalled. 6-7 Stalkers left behind, but they can still blink. What have we got over here? Nothing. Over here we have a couple of Zealots getting a cancel on the Nexus. Trigger is going to try to cut off that army. Krystianer is going to try to save that army. Who's ambushing who? Who fires first? It is Trigger who fires the first shot and the second shot. His Novas didn't really connect. Does he have another one? He's got one coming in from the left. The Zealots coming in from the right as well. The Nova goes for the Zealots. What a bizarre game. Oh my, oh my. Who wins the $100? Who wins the co-main event? Is it Trigger or is it Krystianer? We are in game 5. And it's a truly bizarre, unique game. That Nova! Oh, that's a good one. That is a very good one. The best shot that Krystianer has landed all game long. As it now gives him the confidence to blink forward. And Trigger loses even more. Those 2 Novas may have been game ending. But it's so hard to end games against all the cannons and the batteries that Maybe Trigger can land some great shots too, guys. Just when the game started to slip away for Krystianer, he lands his best Novas of the game by far. He's now on 28 Stalkers and 10 Disruptors against 12 Stalkers and 4 Disruptors. Trigger obviously desperately needs another base, or he needs to smash a fight. Oh, Trigger, you almost had him, mate. You almost had him. You almost had a magical comeback. He keeps on trying, kills one of the Disruptors there. Needs to be very careful. Oh, needs to be so careful, and he is careful. He's thinking of a surround. Gets a lot of the Stalkers. There's so many Disruptors on the side of Krystianer. It's very difficult to engage. And Krystianer is obviously out-expanding, out-mining Trigger. But if Trigger can just get a little closer to maxing out, he's got a chance. 6 balls. Oh, the balls are exposed. He fires. Who wins? Oh, how does he miss? Alright, Krystianer goes for the forward blink. One of the Disruptors did go off, so Krystianer lost a lot of Disruptors there. But obviously Trigger lost all of his. It's 6 against 2 now. A couple of Novas fly forward. They don't connect. One more Disruptor gets picked up. There's another one. Trigger is now the one who blinks forward as he gets on top of a lot of the Disruptors of Krystianer. The Archons are just a bit too slow to really participate in the fight. I mean, it's a bit of a wash, but a wash is very good news for Krystianer, who's just mining a lot more. He has been able to take this top base. He has been able to even take this base. I feel like Trigger is starting to run out of steam a little bit. Needs a magical hit. I feel that Trigger almost brought it back, but I think now it's going to be too difficult. But a trade is good for the man who's rich, for the man with more bases. After 21 minutes, this is starting to look very promising for Krystianer. As he's still going to have a hard time closing it out. If Trigger can just get this base online, mine from it for a little while, or land one picture perfect Nova, the dream is still alive. It's only 2 against 4 Disruptors at the moment. The upgrades are not good either, yeah. Still down 2 upgrades. Soon down 3 upgrades. But Disruptors don't care about your upgrades. This is very important to keep in mind, guys. Disruptors do not care about your upgrades. With this base up and running, I start believing a tiny bit again. You need that Roddy against Clem Nova. Yeah, we should definitely turn that into a thing. I'm sure Clem will love that. Krystianer knows that Trigger has been able to get this base up and running, so he's going to get on top of it. Trigger is going to try to create some chaos with Zealots over here on the left, but there is a cannon and a battery. He's also going to try to get on top of the third. Maybe if you get on top of this one, you can get on top of this one as well. Battery overcharge is going to be good enough to keep this cannon alive for a while. I mean, base trades are chaotic. That could maybe open the door for a magical Purification Nova. This base never got taken care of. We needed like a few more Zealots here, or take the let the Zealots attack the battery and the cannon first. Since that didn't happen, it is going to be hard. We have 5 Disruptors against 7. And we need magical Disruptors, guys. We need absolutely magical Purification Novas. Is it impossible? No. Is it unlikely? Obviously, yes. This Krystianer with a Disruptor coming in. He is not paying attention. He is paying attention. He is the one who lands the first good Nova. And that obviously means that Krystianer is now even more likely to win this game. Trigger does blink forward. Snipes those 2. But I don't know how he ever gets out of this army. He gets a swallow up. It is the Polish Protoss Krystianer. Boom! Who gets the Nova as well. And that is all C-Road for a pretty damn cool PvP best of 5. This one will go in favor of Krystianer, but standing ovation to both the nerds. That was a fun one. Excellent video games. That was your PvP, guys. Krystianer takes it 3-2. 4 out of 5 games were played on the European server, though. So keep that in mind. 4 out of 5 games on the European server. Very fun series. Great effort by Trigger. Almost brought it back. And I actually think if he would have just gone for it, guys, with those Immortals, I think he would have won, right? Oh well. Awesome. Awesome stuff. GG. Hello, Shatam. Thanks to Basilisk and Roddy. Yes, guys. Never thank me too much. Make sure to always thank Basilisk a lot. Without Basilisk, all of this would not be possible. So You guys know where to show them love. Exclamation mark Basilisk in the chat. You guys can give them some love on Twitter or on the Discord. Save her with a very fun tweet. I kind of like this tweet. That's funny. All right. One more. Best of 5, guys, to end a very long day of StarCraft 2. I'm going to choose the prediction outcome. Unfortunately, it is Krystianer who gets the job done for a lot of you guys. 35% against 65. But it was a very fun and close series. Krystianer wins $100. Trigger will still get 25 very well deserved bucks, I think, because he played a great series. Main event of the evening, and it's not a best of 3 in an online tournament. It doesn't really matter. Just like in the ESL Masters, it is a best of 5 between Europe's absolute finest Terrans. Hero Marine versus a Spirit, a best of 5. The winner gets 150 bucks. The loser gets a 50. Thank you to Basilisk for giving us 10 more subbies. Basilisk is the Neil Santa. Basilisk has been the best, the GOAT. Almost 2k gifted subs, it's crazy. Yeah, I'm very lucky, guys. What can I say? I'm very lucky with this orc, with this team. But I think it's not just me. I think it's good for StarCraft overall. Alright. I'm gonna go ahead and take a tiny break. The absolute last break of the day. And then we watch a TVT best of 5 Spirit versus Hero Marine. It's coming up. Spirit is here. Is Gabe here? Gabe is here. Who starts? You start. I'll go ahead and take a tiny break, guys. See you guys real soon.